Welcome back to Cherry City Punch, Season 2, Episode 1.
Yes, we're excited.
We have this new picture of a curtain behind us and a live studio audience.
We do. One member in it.
All right. So we're excited to be back. It's been since July that we've been on. And
why haven't
let's
we been
talk
here?
about our busy summer, Heather. So you went to a Broadway camp.
Broadway Dreams Foundation.
We were
Workshop.
did 9 to 5.
We did 9 to 5.
What else has been going on? Oh, we're doing Seussical right now.
Yeah, we're working on Seussical.
You're also in a show called Love, Loss, and What I Wore.
Yes, which we will be talking about today. We actually have guests from Love, Loss, and What I Wore, including myself.
And frankly, life just happened. And
Life just happens sometimes.
And we don't get paid to be here. So
actually, I am getting paid. I thought you were getting paid too. This is
something's
awkward.
something's got to give.
Yes.
So we're excited to be back today. We are going to talk to Katie Lindbeck, the director of Love, Loss, and What I Wore from the Verona studio, and we'll be joined by Heather Toller and Kelly Swanson-Jakes.
Yes.
And then we will also talk today to Jerry Sanders, director of Other Desert Cities.
At Pinnacle Theater.
And Kate Thomas, the actress from Other Desert Cities. So we're excited to be back. It's been a
tumultuous.
long time, yeah.
And I know some of you were worried about our Silverton curmudgeon, but he is back. Isaac's Corner will also be here, so don't you worry.
Well, let's talk about the truth of that.
Well,
we put out an all call,
and it was in haste. It was in haste, and it was an emotional move.
He didn't make it to something that was important to us, and
so
he regrets that decision. I think
he does. I'm sure he does.
But
all is well.
What we're really concerned about is where were you people to fill in for Isaac? Because no one sent in a submission to fill that role.
No one stepped up to the plate.
And the shoes aren't that big. Let's be honest. Anyway, we've decided to let Isaac come back for season 2, and we'll see how he does. Every episode for Isaac is an audition.
Yes.
So
More
we'll
to
see if he
come.
comes back. He claims he has material. He was on time today. So let's get right to it with our interview about one of the upcoming shows.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, we're excited to welcome Jerry Sanders, director of Other Desert Cities, and Kate Thomas, one of the actresses from Other Desert Cities. So thanks for coming.
Oh, did we get your last
Thompson?
name?
Yes, Thompson.
Thompson, sorry. I was actually debating in my head. Is it Thompson or Thompson? Thomas or Thompson? Kate Thompson,
Yes, we want to make sure
one of
we
the
get that
actresses from Other Desert Cities. So, Jerry, why don't you tell us a little bit about the play?
Well, first, thanks for
And
having
Kate,
us.
what made you want to audition for the play?
Well, first, thanks for having us. The play is the story of a family who, the parents are old guard Republicans living in outside of Palm Springs, California, and they live there with the mother's sister, who's just fresh out of recovery, or rehab, and is in recovery. And their son, Trip, also lives in California. But their daughter, Brooke, is coming back from the East Coast to visit after 6 years. She hasn't been home, and she has written a memoir exposing some painful details of the family's past that they don't want to have put out in public. So I don't want to give away too much because really we're trying to encourage people to come see it. The ending is unexpected, and so we don't want to give too much away. We're hoping people will come and see the show and just be surprised by and moved by the ending of the show.
Well, I've seen the script. I mean, I've read the script, and it's fabulous. I mean, it's just really well written. Kate, if you want to also, regarding Robert's question, what made you want to audition for this?
Audition. This play's been on my bucket list pretty much since it was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize. It's written by a playwright who is known for quick, snappy dialogue, very, very intelligent, strong characters. It's complex. It's a world where people are very much their own person, which on the one hand leads to conflict, but at the end of the day, everybody really loves each other. So it's really a beautiful thing, and I think it's something we need right now.
Can you kind of talk about obviously Kate is the daughter that's writing the book. It's a small cast, so can you kind of talk about the dynamics of the other characters in the family and kind of what maybe stereotypes do they play or what archetypes do they play in relation to creating the drama that exists in the family?
Sure. Well, there are 5 characters in the play. Brooke Wyeth is the daughter who's coming back after the 6-year hiatus. You've got Polly and Lyman Wyeth, who are her parents. They are they're pretty typical old guard Republican, and really Silda, who is Polly's sister, the mother's sister, Brooke's aunt, is not. She's very much a liberal, and you see that dynamic at play. And what's interesting to me is that Silda's, some of her big dialogue speeches, she doesn't talk a lot, but when she does, I find myself going, yeah, we really need to hear that even now. The play takes place, the first 3 scenes take place in 2004. So it's interesting to see the author having written dialogue then that really still is true today.
Okay.
So you're seeing some pretty typical liberal points of view, liberal politics, Republican, traditional conservative politics at play here. But as Kate said, at the end, what makes this, in the end, it's not about politics, it's not about divisiveness, it's really about love and family. The younger son, Trip, I think is a good representation of that younger generation that's kind of feels lost in the shuffle, even though age-wise and where he would be, his character's more akin to my generation, the Gen Xers, versus being a millennial or anything like that. But the dialogue still holds true that there's this younger generation that's still kind of struggling for acceptance, to even be noticed in the world, and he really portrays that, but he's the one at the end that says, on your last day, all that's going to matter is how you loved. So I think that's one of the things I love about the show is family, love trumps everything.
One of the great things about it, too, is it's set in the holiday season, but you only know that because of the Christmas tree, because it's California, it's
true.
sunny.
It's sunny, it's the desert, they're just outside of Palm Springs, so it's hot in the daytime, it's still cool at night because it is the desert. But they do talk about going to the country club for Christmas dinner. They don't want to, Polly doesn't want to slave over that hot stove. So we do have a Christmas tree. It is kind of gearing up to that holiday season. I started listening to Christmas carols a couple weeks ago, so that I'm done with Christmas now. I've got my fill. But I think that's also what makes it so poignant for this time, as we're coming up to the elections and we've got family gatherings getting ready to start. The show really does showcase that at the end, love is what matters. You can joust and jib and jab at each other with your political differences, but in the end, it's really about love.
That's awesome. Now, Kate, this is your first Pinnacle production,
Yes,
is that
it is.
correct? Now, what else have you done in the area?
In the area, I have, well, let's preface this with, I was gone for 20 years from Salem. I grew up here, left. I've worked across North America as an actor since then, and came back a couple of years ago. So I've done Uncle Vanya and Dead Man's Cell Phone at the Verona Studio. I was in Theater 33's production of Apple Season this summer. And then I also AD'd and stage managed True West at the Verona Studio.
Oh, great. Yeah, that was great too.
I have to say, I am truly blessed as a director to have been fortunate to work with Kate and with my other actors. We have 3 lifetime members of Pinnacle as the parents and the aunt. To have Kate come in is a dream come true for me. It's the part of Brooke was one that I was worried, how will we cast it? Will we find someone who can reach those emotional depths that they need to? And Kate walked in and I just went, okay, there it is. That made me so very happy. And then our youngest member of our cast, Andrew, is newer to acting, but when he stands up to like Pamela Abernathy on stage, it's actually quite amazing to watch.
I can only imagine.
So what do you think audiences need to know coming into the show? People probably haven't heard of it for the most part unless they're reading a lot of plays. It's obviously been up for a Pulitzer Prize.
It has. It also, Judith Light won the Tony for it as in the role of Silda, the aunt. I think what people need to be aware of is that it is modern. It's you could dress it in today's clothes. In fact, I think a lot of our costumes are just pulled from the shelves of today's clothes. There's not a lot of difference. There's some language, some swear words, nothing too outrageous, but they swear and talk like people today. And there's some drug use. The siblings do smoke some marijuana on stage. So that makes for a really fun moment, though. It's one of my favorite moments on stage.
What do you think is going to, aside from the family aspect, it's a play, contemporary dramas are sometimes hard to get crowds of people in. So what do you think is an appealing from an audience perspective about this show right now that will get people in there to see it?
I think, first, I wouldn't necessarily class it is a drama, but it's also very funny. And so I think people shouldn't be afraid to come see it thinking they're going to be walking away at the end feeling depressed or unhappy. It really does leave you feeling hopeful. And that the way I look at it, the way I've always looked at the show is no matter what our political differences are, no matter what our the way that we view the world, no matter how different we are as people, love will always come first. And I think with so much conflict and negativity in today's society, even among families who love each other, it's a wonderful opportunity to come, and it's kind of cathartic to watch. It's an emotional release. I attach to it because as the daughter who's the liberal daughter living away, my parents are conservatives and they live someplace else, and going home to see him and the jibbing and jabbing and
I think that family dynamic of bringing together everyone's different ideas and those family members that you do relate to and align ideals with and those that don't. I can't imagine anyone who hasn't gone home and had that experience at some point in their life or growing up in a certain environment, and then as you leave and you become your own adult, you either hang on to those values or you realize, oh, the world is not the bubble that I was living in.
It's true, and I think, again, without giving anything away, I think it will surprise people to see two characters that are really true to their nature go against that nature. That's what I think is probably one of the most impressive things about the show, and really what I keep trying to show people is that it doesn't matter what our differences are, we love, and that's really what tops everything.
And can you remind people of some other things that you've directed at Pentacle?
Sure. At Pentacle, I have directed The Nerd, was the most recent show a couple years ago. I also directed The Boyfriend and My Fair Lady and Curious Savage. I've also been a choreographer and performer there for the past 16 years.
And most recently, you've been doing a lot of choreography. Pretty much every show this season you've
This
choreographed.
season and next season.
Which equaled your honor as Volunteer of the Year.
It's true. That was a true honor, humbling experience, and still not one that I didn't expect it at the time, and I still kind of look at it and go, really? Because I don't think I've done enough.
Well, one of the highest honors Pentacle can bestow upon a volunteer is Volunteer of the Year. So congratulations.
Thank you.
For winning that, because you obviously, I think you've worked nonstop between you're in town till you'll go maybe like February to January. Nonstop?
Yeah, that's
insane.
But if you throw in Mary Poppins and then if you actually go back through all the performing last year, I've been seriously going nonstop for about 2.5 years.
So let us know, when does the show run? I know it opens on the 10th, or no, the 11th, sorry.
That's right, we open on Veterans Day.
How do you get tickets?
So we open on Veterans Day, November 11th. We run through December 3rd. You can get tickets online at pinnacletheater.org or contact our box office, which I don't actually have the phone number memorized.
503-485-4300.
I don't memorize it. I push it in my phone.
Shows are Wednesdays through Sundays.
Correct.
And Wednesdays through Saturdays, 7:30 p.m. Sunday matinees at 2.
The one exception is the week of Thanksgiving. We are dark on Thanksgiving,
okay.
so we
That's
add a
good to
show on Tuesday that week.
That's good to know. I always forgot about that.
Yeah, that is good to know.
All right, well, check
Thank
out
you so
other
much.
Desert Cities at Pinnacle Theater. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
We'll see you at the theater. Welcome back. Lost Heather to the other side of the aisle here. She's now part of the panel.
I'm an interviewee.
Yes, we are with
Interviewer.
a portion of the cast and the director of Verona Studios' Love, Loss, and What I Wore, which opens November 10th and runs through November 12th.
Yep.
So 3 performances only?
four
Four
performances only.
performance. There's a matinee and an evening performance on Saturday.
Okay, so this coming Thursday, Friday, and doubleheader on Saturday, you can check out these 4 ladies, directed by Katie Lindbeck. So
5 ladies.
5 ladies,
5 ladies.
sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm screwing it all up. So Katie, why don't you tell us a little bit about the show and who you have in the show and who you brought with you today?
Well, today I have Heather Duncan and Kelly Jex, and they are 2 cast members of a 5-woman cast, Love, Lost, and What I Wore, accompanied with Robin Hayek and Deborah Johansson, then Kelly, then Robin, and
Heather and Jenny Bertels.
So a 5-woman cast, directed by Katie Lindbeck.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the concept for this show. It's an added
Yes, it's
kind of bonus show for Verona.
Yes, it's a special project for them, and it's a staged reading of a play that actually is a reading when you stage it. As it happens, that's the way it is performed on Broadway. If you went to Broadway, you would see it read like you'll see it here. And it's a collection. First of all, it's an adaptation of a book by the same name. And
Written by Eileen Beckerman.
Eileen Beckerman, yes, and adapted by the Ephron sisters, Nora and Delia Ephron, who...
And if people aren't familiar with Nora Ephron, she is also Sleeps in Seattle?
Yes, and You've Got Mail.
A great writer.
Yeah.
A good
And
comedy
definitely,
writer.
I think people probably associate her with chick flicks, the genre of movies that, really,
Rom-coms.
romantic comedies for sure.
Yeah, romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And what they did is they adapted her book, and you have sort of it's in monologue form for the most part, although the monologues break into small scenes, and also there is, I'm not sure how to put this, there are kind of group ensemble pieces to it, and it's all knit together.
A montage.
A montage, yeah. And it's really about clothing and its impact on you emotionally, and the times. If you go through your closet, especially for women, if they go through their closet, they'll remember what you wore to your cousin's wedding when such and such happened. There's a lot of times, there's a lot of kind of, you try on an identity, you try on different things when how you thought you wanted to be professional, how you want to see yourself as a mom, what you thought was sexy, different times in different places, and women will go through more distinct stages of that than most men's clothing does. So it's a little different path for women, but not entirely.
So it's a memory play through monologues told by the clothing or
Prompted by the
clothing. So for me, I distinctly, I can smell something, and it can take me back to that moment of.
Yes. Maybe you hear something on hear something on the radio, and it takes you back. And this is the same kind of thing.
So it's playing out the emotions of what that memory is,
Yes.
or describing that memory for the audience based on that purse, those pantsuit, that.
But it's beyond the
blouse.
clothing. It's more about the relationships and the emotions that are attached to that piece of clothing.
Yeah, they just served as a prompt.
So Kelly and Heather, Katie's described the show now. What about the show? How did this come about? I know there was probably some, I know a little bit of the backstory as far as kind of how you guys thought about, let's do this, but what about that show was like, yes, that's something I want to be part of?
Well, I first read the play a couple of years ago, and I thought of many of these women sitting here and that are in the show now, and I thought, we have to do this show. It's such a powerhouse play for women, because everyone in the show gets to play 5 to 6 to 7 different women during the run, and so you get to access so many different emotional parts of yourself to play in the show. So anyway, we were talking one night over a year ago, happened to be out at dinner.
Yeah, well, we happened to run into Deborah and Robin and Ginny at a play that we went to.
Right.
And so we all had dinner afterwards.
We all had dinner, and I said, you guys, have you read this play? Some of them had, some hadn't, and I said, we need to do this show. So it took us about a year to find one weekend for 5 women plus Katie, 6 women's schedules, and this theater schedule
to all
be
sync
able
up.
to sync. So.
And Katie directing us is such a gift too, because we kind of toyed around with the idea of, we could just direct each other, and I'm so glad we didn't go there because it really just having her insight.
It's an anchor.
You have to have
nice.
you have to have a set of eyes that are not in the show. I mean, you can't watch yourselves, and you can't watch each other and then be invested in your own performance. You really need that separate set of eyes that is really editing the whole thing.
Oh, and it's
you.
just such a pleasure to work with Katie too on this project.
And that's what's fun for me too, is this whole group of women is so much fun too, because each of them play people, older, younger, childhood versions of themselves. So it's really a lot of fun, and different styles of people. I mean, a lot of these are women you know, or women in your acquaintance, or people that you are related to. So it's a ton of fun to watch people sort of change that point of view. And it's not something you get a chance to do very often.
Yeah.
There's not very many vehicles that offer that.
For sure.
For women.
yeah,
They are for men.
especially, Yeah. What has the rehearsals been like trying to get? So it took a year to figure out this weekend. How have you guys rehearsed this? Being monologues plus some group montages.
Well, we have group rehearsals, and then I have individual rehearsals, so that everybody with their schedule, and then I'm trying to take it with people's schedules, so as they, between work and how their work is, and everyone is off at really a different time, and there's a couple of retirees, so I can rehearse with them in the morning, and I can rehearse with people either earlier or later in the evening, and I just try to work with people's schedules to do the individuals rehearsals, because that's the way you're going to get the time in, and that's the way it's going to work.
And it's nice, this type of show, you could do it in a living room.
There is some flexibility, obviously, there where you
Right.
don't have to have an auditorium and you don't have to have
Yeah.
certain things. And if
that's
being
it.
a lot of monologues, at least allow some flexibility. Heather and Kelly, when you read the script, were there monologues that you said like, that's one of the ones I want to do, and how did you guys kind of decide to divvy those up? And did you get monologues did you end up getting the monologues you really, really wanted, or did you end up with ones that, I'm really jealous so-and-so has that one?
Well, I think there's some beautiful moments that everyone has throughout the show. And for me, and a lot of it's just kind of my personality, I was like, I'll take whatever. Because, they stretch me in a lot of different ways, some of the monologues I have. And Katie, actually, I think you just assigned them kind
Kind of laid out in the script.
They are laid out in the script. With the original cast, I took it,
So woman one does these set of monologues.
yes,
Okay.
and that's what I had. And
You
being
changed up a couple, didn't you?
there was just a couple I flipped around because what they said of either type of person or history was so obviously not that person. I mean,
Yeah.
but I really tried to keep away, not for emotional reasons, because all of these women can go there. So mostly it was just for something, if it would seem so distracting, she's obviously way too young to have this memory of 1940, please,
Yeah.
But the monologues, to your point about getting what we wanted, or, each of us have our own assigned what we're doing. And each of us, I think, would say to you, some of them we absolutely love, and some are harder for us to do than others. But that's good. I mean, we're all growing. When I have to play a 13-year-old, I have to really go there.
Yeah.
And or I have to play someone from Upper East Side, New York. Well, I have to kind of get a different rhythm and cadence to my voice, and that's the exciting part. But personally, I love what we're doing, and when we're all together, we laugh, we cry, and we can't wait for an audience to. I'm telling everyone I know, because not because I'm in it, but because, oh my God, this is a incredible show. Anyone who sees it's going to love
we
it.
are just so lucky to be able to watch it, too.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the nice features is when we're not doing a monologue, we get to watch someone else, and we're just like so.
It's amazing.
Well, and you want to be, especially in a show like this, you want to have the challenge. That's kind of the
Yes.
reason you're doing it is, it's not like I just do my little thing and be done, but the challenge of, okay, how do you then rise to the occasion for the next monologue?
Right.
Rather than, sit and like, okay, I'm done.
Well, and that's the thing. You have to be on.
You're
off, and then you're on, right in it.
Yeah.
You're so captivated, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh wait,
And that's me.
I'm next.
So obviously this is going to appeal to women, right?
Yeah, but I think it's
but
gender neutral.
for sure.
Yeah.
And so what would you say to those guys out there that are listening like, oh, I'm going to skip that one? What is it that's going to hook the guy aside from being maybe drug along with the spouse?
Well, first of all, if men want to understand women, it's a great insight. And for men who want some insight, this is great. Actually, offers a lot of insight. Sometimes men will sort of say, "Gosh, they wish the women in their lives came with a little bit of an instruction book." Well, this wouldn't be a bad place to start, being as one isn't officially printed.
And the play is very authentic, and I think any human being is going to relate to it. I mean, it's real. It's whether you lost a parent young, whether you were a man or a woman, it's still the same emotion. When you lose a lover that you loved, it's the same emotion. When things get ripped out of your life, or you're suffering loss of any kind, it's the same whether you're a man or a woman. And so on that authentic emotional level, everyone will relate to the play.
Yeah. Women may have different springboards, but we
Yeah.
all kind of come from the same place.
So if somebody is interested in getting tickets to see Love, Loss, and What I Wore at the Verona Studio, remind them about the dates and how can you get tickets?
November 10, 11, and 12, and it's matinee and evening performance. And you go to the Verona Studios webpage, and they have a special project.
Yeah, so you go to current productions. You have to actually click on current production, and that's where you'll be able to get tickets.
And the cool thing about Verona is people will be able to walk right up the night of the show, at third floor of the Reed Opera House in Salem, Oregon.
We should remind people it only seats 60.
Yes.
It only seats
So
60.
it's always best to buy in advance. And they have 8 o'clock curtain, is that
Yeah,
right, for
8
evening
o'clock
shows?
evening.
So
Yes.
evening shows are 8 and the matinees at 2. So just note those times. They are different than some of the other theaters in town, and it is a small space. But I think that adds, especially to this,
This.
Fabulous.
will definitely add a up close and personal feel. And it'll be interesting to see what clothing pieces spur what memories.
Yeah.
That is the fun of it.
So check out Verona Studios project Love, Loss, and What I Wore coming up this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Hello, camera, and welcome to Isaac's Corner. I'm sorry we've been off the air for so long. There were a lot of scheduling conflicts that arise between this and Robert's many other vanity projects. It was a good setup, though, I think, while it lasted, because normally when the show is on the air, we put a lot of time and effort into putting it together and giving you the opportunity, which you then take not to watch it. And when we didn't film it, it took a lot less time and energy on our part, and you still had the opportunity not to watch it. So I think it worked out pretty well for everyone, but we're back. Robert needs the affirmation, so we're here again. And, well, I thought might as well take the time to give a few public service announcements, as this is a public access channel. So let's get going here. The City of Salem is proud to announce the completion of extended bike lanes in the downtown area. It says that if this is successful in getting more people to ride to work, they will implement a similar policy, leaving out still pools of water in hopes that the mosquito population will grow. They would also like to remind people not to drive under the influence of alcohol or narcotics. But if they are going to drive under the influence of alcohol or narcotics, they hope that you choose to do so with one of the products offered by Salem's many local breweries and dispensaries. That's a weird one, but it does come from the same meeting in which they approved the bike lanes. So, and we would also like to remind people to turn in their ballots by Tuesday of this week. It seems from what I have here that the two leading presidential candidates are a Vincent D'Onofrio character named Donald Trump and a real-life human woman, not a human cyborg or lizard alien in skin suit, Hillary Clinton. So we've got some hot choices there. But now, as I transition to a more serious note in order to bring this to a close, I would like to remind all of you that your vote matters. This is very possibly the most important presidential election in American history. It is up to us to prevent America's orangest sexual offender from becoming the next commander-in-chief. And the way we're going to do that is by voting for a woman who promises to uphold the strong and proud tradition of bipartisan American corruption. Or so, you know, the people who put in the bike lanes would have us believe.
Well, Other Desert City sounds interesting.
I know, I can't wait. I think it'll be really good.
And Love, Lost, When I Wore, Heather. It sounds like you've got quite a scene with Kelly there.
Well, it is going to be a powerful bit.
I look
excited.
forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So that's coming up this coming weekend, and then Other Desert Cities runs for the next 4 weekends. And in there, it's election season.
Yes, it is election season.
So-
So, since we're filming this on the 5th,
Yes.
it'll be interesting to see what the turnout is on the 8th.
Have you voted yet?
I have voted. I have submitted my ballot. I'm done. So
And
no one needs to advertise
Who
to me.
did you vote for?
I'd like to keep those things
What
private.
I appreciated is Ken Billings. Did you see his ballot?
Yes, the one
he
that
wrote
was
in
written in.
"Sweet Meteor of Death." I appreciated that one.
So let's hope we're
Who did you
celebrating.
vote for governor?
for governor. I would also like to keep that private.
What did you vote on for Measure 97?
I don't like to share my political views because I get like worried that, I mean, I know that people like have strong stances on things, and I have like very specific private reasons. Because I have, I wear many hats. I'm like the
But
theater
what about
person.
Measure 97?
Oh, I'm going to
Corporate
keep
tax.
that also a
Really?
secret.
Oh, gosh.
See,
okay.
I'm telling you, I don't want to talk about politics.
Okay, well, we'll see.
What about you, Robert, on all of those issues?
I voted for myself for president. And I did vote yes on Measure 97.
Oh.
Although now that I'm thinking about it, I maybe should have voted no. Actually, because I've seen all these ads about Measure 97, and
It's really hard to know.
It
because
is.
Now it's like, it's hard.
I admittedly didn't do my full research on that measure because apparently the legislature can do whatever they want with the
I know
money.
you
It's
voted
not-
for outdoor
It's
school.
not earmarked. I did vote yes on outdoor school for
Which I
all.
did- I
did
did
vote
vote
yes
yes on
on outdoor school for all.
Yeah, I did as well.
You
I
know,
will confess
this
that.
election season has me.
It's very polarizing.
Well-
I'm amazed at how polarized people are.
It has me feeling unenthusiastic because I don't feel like we can win either way.
Yes.
So I will continue to live my life and probably be unaffected by it all.
Well, we are back. Season 2, Episode 1 is a wrap, and we will see you next time.
We're excited to be back. So thank you. See ya.